Welcome back to Gaming Top Down. Today I'm going to be going over the games in my collection that start with the letter E, breaking them into unplayed, thinking of purging, and favorites categories. This is going to be a shorter video. Without any further ado, let's hop right in. Okay, first up are the games I haven't been able to play yet. And first on that list is Exit the Game, The Abandoned Cabin. This Exit series has been very popular. It's basically an escape room in a box, is kind of the idea here. And in this one, I guess you're stuck in an abandoned cabin. I have only been to a couple escape rooms, but they were both a very fun time. So I think that this might be a game that I would like, playing it with my wife or some friends. It seems like this one is not their easiest, but not their hardest either. So should strike an okay balance for someone like me that's kind of a noob to escape rooms. But that is Exit the Game. And next is a big game with a big box called Excavation Earth. In this game, you play as different species of aliens who are visiting Earth after humans have long been extinct. And I think you're finding different artifacts of human life, like license plates and things like that. And then it's kind of an economic game where you're trying to sell those items for the highest price. And whoever can make the most space bucks doing so is the winner. It's a fairly involved game. You've got like the different markets here, and you manage your own ship and the resources, or not the resources, the artifacts that you're taking back and forth here. So there is quite a bit going on, and that's why I haven't been able to play it yet, but I haven't had it very long. So I am excited to give this one a try. I got it used, but all the cards were still in the plastic wrap, and so I don't think it had been even played, and it is the nice Kickstarter version with metal coins and a couple mini expansions. So I am excited to play Excavation Earth. All right, next up for games I'm thinking of purging, I only have one, and purge is not the right word for this, but this is a small roll and write game called Everest 1924, and it was fun for a couple of plays, but I don't think it's one that I will pull out again. In fact, I think it's just a totally free roll and write game that you can get on Board Game Geek or elsewhere. And you're trying to climb Mount Everest by rolling dice, and depending on what you roll, you'll either move horizontally or up, or you might even move back down. If you ever hit the end of the row, then you lose. So you're trying to make it all the way up to the top without running out of time to do so. Like I said, it's an okay time. Not my favorite print and play roll and write game, so I don't really come back to it often. But that is Everest 1924. All right, and then for my favorite games that start with the letter E, first up is an extremely popular one, and this is Earth. Earth is a really wonderful game where you are playing out up to 16 cards in an area in front of you that are different plants. And those plants will possibly grow, and you put these growth kind of tokens on them, and you're managing dirt. The cool thing about this game is everybody gets to take an action on every turn. When it's your turn, you'll choose one of the 4 action spots, and you'll get to do the top part of the action, which is the better portion, but everybody else gets to do the bottom portion, and then also activate their cards of that color. So it's a fun game because you're involved in every single turn. Because of that, you're not really paying attention to what everybody else is doing. It's a little bit multiplayer solitaire. I'm really just focused on my 16 cards, and if I happen to score more than you, then hooray for me. That's maybe the one thing I don't love about this game, is that you don't really look over to see what other people are doing. But you're having such a good time on your own section of cards and tiles and building the trees and managing your your compost and composting cards that you don't really mind. So yeah, Earth is great. I'm sure you know that if you're coming to this video, but Earth is a good time. Okay, next up is one that kind of surprised me. We've really enjoyed this one. This is Emerge from Pandasaurus, designed by Adam DeYoung. And in this game, you are rolling a bunch of dice, and so there's a bit of luck there with the dice, but you have some really cool ways that you can kind of mitigate the luck and affect your board. So you're building these different islands that will grow from small to medium to large islands, and then you have to put life on the islands in a certain order. It'll be plant life, and then small like crabs, and then slightly larger animals like turtles, and kind of going up that direction. And so at the beginning of the game, you're not really focused as much on like the seals, for example. And so on each turn, you can take one of these kind of cardboard cards and cover up one of your action spaces, and it will become something else. So I could really focus hard on trees at the beginning by taking the tree one, covering up maybe the seals, and then any 4s and any 1s that I roll would be for the tree action. So you get to customize your board, which helps you mitigate the luck of the die rolls. It's very fun. I think it's an 8-round game, and each round is pretty snappy. You can play this one in about an hour. And yeah, it's really fun to watch the board kind of grow and fill with these different animal meeples and the islands getting slightly bigger. It is a fairly straightforward game, so we'll see how much staying power it has as the years go by, but after 5 or 6 plays, we have really enjoyed it. So that is Emerge. Okay, and last up for this video, like I said, kind of a shorter one, but Evergreen is one of my very favorite games. Really, really enjoy this one. Love the size of the box. It's a very thin box, probably hard to tell, but a lot of game in this thin box that fits very well on a shelf. I've mentioned it before, I really like Horrible Guild. I think they do a wonderful job. But in this game, you are trying to put plants, mainly saplings that grow into small trees and into large trees, out on your world in these different biomes, and the sun in each round is going to rotate around the board, and you score points in 2 different ways. You're going to score based on your largest cluster or forest of trees that are touching, so in that way you're incentivized to group them together. But then you're also going to score for how much sunlight you gather that round, and the sunlight is going to come from the direction of the sun, and then the different trees cast a shadow of either 1 or 2 spaces, so anything in the shadow will not gather sunlight. And so because of that scoring, you're incentivized to separate your pieces. So it's a balance of clustering and separating your pieces, and you can really focus on either and do well. Very fun game, plays in a very quick time. On each turn, you're basically drafting 1 card that will help you determine what you're going to be doing for that turn. Really nice boards that are dual layers. When you put your pieces down, you generally don't have things moving around. You can accidentally tip some of the trees over, but that's generally pretty easy to fix. So that is going to end my favorite games that start with the letter E with Evergreen. Thanks so much for watching. Some of the other videos in this series have been much, much longer than this one. So check those out if you want to see what other games I have in my collection. I think the letter C and D were both very long. And just looking forward at F, I think it's going to be a more meaty video as well. Check out the rest of the content I have here on Gaming Top Down, and make sure to join our monthly giveaway. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.